Wow, Sina.
Another day, another dollar. I'm saving just to be broke. They said college was serious, but my degree feel like a joke. 4 years or less, I'm sane. I got it done. No playing, just to end up at my mom's after I told her I wasn't staying. Well, here we are. No question, I'm a star. Just got some light years to travel, but it's just so far. But I'ma make it though. Make sure you get your focus right. You coming too, it's about to be one hell of a ride. Yeah, this adults and stuff is crazy. They ain't warn us about this. I'm supposed to live my best life on an unpaid internship. How I'm supposed to find my husband? Everybody running game. I guess the more things change, the more they stay the same. Went from worrying about on flow to running from Uncle Sam. Now I understand why student accounts never gave a damn. Saving accounts be slipping, trying to work out, but I'm tripping. I forgot health insurance. Oh, I'm my mom's until I'm 26, so I gotta pay these student loans. That's adults with the score doing the most. That's adulting, moving out of mom's house. That's adulting, but it's all gonna work out. That's adulting. I need a legal side hustle. That's adulting, cause these bills got me in trouble. That's adulting. Journey's course is never planned. That's adulting. Just leave it in God's hands, cause that's adulting.
Hey friends, I'm back. Child, before y'all crucify me, I already know I am a week late. So let me just ask for forgiveness. Listen, I was supposed to drop episode 3 last week, but honey, life had other plans. I will say I actually tried to record the Thursday before last. I did like 3 takes, but it was just trash. Can somebody say Control Alt Delete? I was not as prepared as I would have liked to have been. So I was like, nope, not happening. I give my friends quality, okay? So here we are, a week later. Plus, I was traveling last weekend, so it was just a lot going on, and I'll talk about my travel. So yeah, I had to wait to give y'all this quality today. So boom, here we are. I'm late, but I'm here. That's all that matters. Long story short, I was getting my podcast life all the way together. So thank you in advance for giving your girl some grace. And if you're new to the show, then welcome. Thank you for giving me some grace too, honey. You probably was looking for me last week, but I was not here. But here I am. I'm so excited that you have taken the time out of your day to listen to me or my soup coolers about all things adulting. So, welcome to the gang. Here we're all friends, and I'm happy to add you to my friend list. Before we get into these class announcements, though, I have to give a big shout out to my international friends. Y'all, we are being heard in Canada, Chile, Spain, Ireland, the United Kingdom, Switzerland, Germany, Egypt, Turkey, Iran, and Mongolia. And I would be remiss if I just did not take a second to shout out my international friends. Like, yes, thank y'all for your support. I really appreciate it. I'm literally shook. Like, wow, that is nobody but God. If you are one of my international friends, slide in my DM and let me know where you're listening from and your name so I can give you a shout out by name because that's how important you are to me. And all of my friends in the States, y'all important to me too, but it's just something about knowing that people are listening to you over the seas. So, like, just wow. Thank y'all. All right. So, y'all know how class starts. We're going to hop into our class announcements, get them out of the way, and get right into the show. So, first of all, make sure you're following your girl on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you're following the podcast page. I have so politely tagged those handles in the show notes at Miss Jaye and at School of Life Pod. Thank you to the obedient students who are already following me, but I wanted to let you know there may be some giveaways coming up, wink, wink, in the near future, and I want to be sure you are in the running along those same lines. After you follow me and the podcast page, you can use my DMs to ask your adulting questions or submit a topic for consideration or share a teachable moment with me, which I will feature on the show. So follow me, slide in my DMs, all of that good stuff. And lastly, do not forget that I am providing free business promo, big emphasis on free, FREE. Y'all know we love free stuff. So yes, I'm providing free business promo during the show and tell segment for all the entrepreneurs out there. So if you have a small business, if you still getting your small business ducks in a row, whatever the case is, if you have a name and some social media and a website and you just need support, slide in my DMs or email me at schooloflifepod@gmail.com and we'll get it popping. We actually have a show and tell feature today, so I'm super excited and I've been a customer of this business. So, anyways, there's a post on my IG that you can add people under or share or whatever the case so that you can spread the word about this free business promo, okay? So, those are our class announcements. I try to keep them very brief. So that would be my goal. If I'm talking too fast, someone let me know. But yeah, I don't want to take up all the time on the class announcements. So, what's going on in Jay's world? I told y'all I was traveling. So, last weekend I was in Delaware and Baltimore. I primarily traveled to go to Delaware, but I had to go to Baltimore too, which I'll get into. I went to Delaware to support my friend, more like Sister in Christ Christian, who has an online women's ministry that I'm a part of and that I am on the planning team for. So we have been planning a summer event since around like April ish. And that event was last weekend. So it was just really good to be able to fly up and meet the team face to face and just be a part of this space where we created an atmosphere for women to reconnect with God, share about some of the challenges we're all facing, share our journeys, have a good time. It was just really, really amazing. So I was happy to get to go to Delaware. Like, I love Delaware. I'll be sure to tag Christian's information in the show notes as well because I do think that you all, especially the women out there, it is a women's ministry, but we are not biased to men. I think you will find the things that she shared and just her transparency very helpful. So, went to Delaware. After we had the event, I hopped on the road and went to Baltimore to go see one of my line sisters. Well, I saw multiple line sisters, but we were celebrating one of them in particular who just got a new job in Baltimore, making boss moves, having a hot girl summer, all of that. Okay, we love her. We love each other, but we love her. So yeah, it was just really great to just have some girl time, both in Delaware and in Baltimore. It was just great. I had a great weekend, and then boom, I'm back in Atlanta. But child, listen, before I got here, let me tell y'all how my teachable moment just popped up. Just it smacked me in the face on the way to the airport and on the airplane. Okay, it's quick, easy, simple. Y'all, this is my teachable moment. I'm not ready for kids. Period. Okay. I know normally I have some profound teachable moment, but not this week. Y'all, I had a great weekend. I just told y'all it was phenomenal. I gave you the whole rundown. But on the way to the airport, some kids shot up my nerves. And then the icing on the cake was a hollering, crying child on the airplane. So for about 3.5 hours, all I heard was hollering and kicking and screaming from these kids. And I was like, Jesus, no, you have just revealed to me a teachable moment. I'm not ready for kids because my patience runneth thinneth. Do you hear me, y'all? It's runneth thinneth. That is not even correct grammar, but that's how thin it is. It's that thin. That's my teachable moment. I'm sorry it's not philosophical, but I'm gonna leave them kids where they at. Your girl is not ready. That's what's up with me. That's what I'm learning in life. I hope that you are having a good life and learning some things as well because that's what it's all about, okay? So, the lesson for the day is literally exactly what the title says. Let the Lord use you, period. More specifically, though, I'm going to be talking about letting God use you from your place of pain and growth, which I know it can be a lot to fathom and take in, but I promise it's all going to come together and make sense by the end of this here thing. So, I told y'all I'm a part of the Surrendered Life Planning Team, which is super amazing. Again, check it out. It'll be tagged in the show notes. But so we had the event last weekend, and the team had been prayed up, and we had been fasting, and we were just super prepared spiritually for the event because we knew that it would be an amazing thing. So we're getting ready for Q&A, which we were having at the end of the event. And as a planning team, we were all reading through the questions that the ladies had submitted beforehand so we can, get an idea of what people wanted to know and if there were some general questions that were being asked. So, long story short, there was a question that stood out to me. the young lady had been through a traumatic experience and wanted to know how to forgive someone. And would you believe I had been through that exact same experience? Like what she detailed in her question, it just resonated with me on such a deeper level. I was like, wow, this is nothing but God. And it's all going to come together because God ended up using me from this place of trauma and pain. Y'all, it was just amazing. So anyhow, we ended up not getting to the question during Q&A, but before we were leaving, we were going to have prayer groups, right? So in the back of my mind, I'm like, I got to find the person who wrote this question because I want to pray with them. I want to pray for them. Like, I want them to know they're not alone in this situation, right? So we separated for prayer groups, and I just knew the young lady had been put into my prayer group. So, super long story short, I'm praying. Well, first I ask everyone their prayer requests and I write them down. And I'm like just getting to know people a little bit more before we go into prayer. And it was just something about this one young lady that I felt connected. Like I felt a connection. And in my mind, I was like, I think this is her. So, anyhow, I start praying, right? And I'm mentioning the prayer request and just praying for all of us and just for healthy minds and bodies and spirits and you name it. I'm asking the Lord for it. Like, move the mountain, bring us prosperity, like everything. I'm telling y'all, if you need me to pray for you, slide in my DMs because I believe in prayer. He said where two or three are gathered. Okay, so let's gather. I'm going in because prayer is powerful and prayer works. And in the middle of my prayer, the young lady begins to cry. And I'm like, oh my, I think this is the young lady, right? Now, Paul's story, we have been put in the prayer groups by random numbers, like count off one, two, three, four, right? So none of us knew like this would end up being the end result. So I just knew that was God as well. But anyhow, she's crying, and I'm like, yeah, this is her. So long story short, again, at the end of the prayer, I asked her if she, wrote the question. Y'all, we both ended up just crying together. And what happened in that moment was God using me to, one, remind myself that I had overcome this situation, but two, be able to pour into somebody else. And I was only able to do that because of God, right? None of that would have been possible though. Like, even before I had been fasting and all of that, none of that would have been possible without me being planted way before this event even happened. Like, make sure y'all following me. I wouldn't have even been able or wanted to open up to this young lady about us sharing this situation had I not grown. Like, it was a time in my life where I wasn't talking about my traumas. I wasn't talking about nothing with nobody, period. But because I had been planted and I had gone through some things where the only thing I could do was trust God, I had become comfortable in my story and in who God needed me to be. And God saw that. So he used me. And almost a week later, well, it has been a week. I'm just still in awe. Like, I'm on cloud nine from how it all came full circle. Just thinking years ago, the Jaye that showed up for that young lady wouldn't have been possible. But it was only possible because I had been planted. Like, y'all, it took me out. So I know that we all go through things and we feel like, what the hell? Oh, okay. What the hell? Oh, why me, Jesus? And it's not until later on in life, and it could be years later, like my situation and what happened last weekend, that some of us can say, wow, that was why I had to go through that. Last episode, I talked about pressing into your true self. And just thinking about that statement, I never in a million years would have thought that the young lady that I embodied last weekend in Delaware at the event would have been a part of my true self. And I can honestly say it's because of the becoming journey. And let's be clear, like, let's be super clear. There's still so much more of me to become. I don't want anyone to ever think I'm making it seem like I've arrived anywhere because, baby, I haven't arrived nowhere. I barely have crunked the car up, okay? I'm still on this journey, but I can say that I've become a better woman and I'm continuously becoming a better woman. I became a woman that someone else needed. I became someone I didn't even know that was in me. And I keep saying it's all because of the journey and how I was planted. Oh my gosh, I'm just getting chills thinking about it. And even from that, it just has reminded me of how much prayer I was doing and how I was giving so much of me and how I was spending so much time with God when I was feeling planted and in the dark. Like, I never knew that on the other side of that, I will be able to help someone and make them feel better and pour something into them. But I know that now. And that is the beautiful part. And that's my challenge to you all today. On this journey, because please believe this is a journey, think about who you need to become for you, first of all, but who you may need to become for your families or for your friends or even for God. Like, I had to become someone I never knew existed. Like, anyone who knows like the true testimony of my life will tell you talking about things and opening up was not me. I was like I'll hold it in, bottle it up, and then explode at some random inconvenient time that was just a hot mess. But because of all that I learned while I was planted, I just became this beautiful person. And I want you to think, well, who do you need to become? Or who are you becoming? And not just for you, but for other people, for your friends, for your coworkers. Who do you need to become to get to that next level of ministry? Like, yeah, it's real cool to give back to others, like give to the homeless or pay for someone's food in a drive through because you've just been super blessed. And you're like, you know what, God, I'm going to bless someone else. Don't get me wrong, that's really cool. But God is calling you to do his work and to let him use you on a bigger scale. Like, think about it. Let him use you, sis or bro. By the way, I read a post that says sis is becoming gender neutral, so I think I'm gonna adopt that. But no, really, let God use you because someone needs you. Listen, we out here breaking generational curses. We are embracing our evolutions into the best possible people we can be. We are doing things that no one in our families have done before. We're literally moving mountains. But the only way up is down, okay? I'm going to say it again. The only way up is having to go down first. If we're going to be these big oak trees, rooted and spreading our branches and becoming people in uncharted territory, we have to embrace being planted seeds first. I cannot express that enough. Like, I can't imagine if I never went through that same experience as that young lady. She would have come to the event having that question, asking the question, and then possibly no one being able to answer it. Now, maybe we could have answered it and it would have just been like a generic answer. I don't know, but just knowing that I experienced that same thing, just like, wow, I don't even want to imagine what that would have been like for her. But think about the same situation in your own lives. What experiences have you been through that you know someone else in this world has as well? It could be emotional trauma, it could be losing a parent, it could be having to take care of siblings at a young age. Like, it can be so many things being a first generation college student. Like, it's a million things it could be that someone else in the world is going through but is suffering silently, and you stand up and it's like, okay, God, use me. I want to be able to help this person. And the biggest question you have to ask yourself is, are you positioning yourself to let God use you and to let God grow you from that experience? Like, are you handling your planted season with grace? Are you learning from it? That's really where it all starts. Look, y'all gonna get me to start preaching because it was just amazing what happened last weekend and just how this is coming full circle. I told that story about what happened last weekend to encourage you to embrace your own story and your own pain points and your own testimony in such a way that God has no choice but to use you. Like, there's nothing that can come from your pain but a testimony and some revelation. And so I want you to start changing your speech and your walk and your talk. And when you get in a position to be used and really listen to God, you will be ready. Like, you will be A-OK. I can totally guarantee it. When I was planted, I tried my best. I was not perfect at it, not one bit, but I tried my darnest to pray more, fast more, give more. I told y'all, like, I was giving when I just felt like my world was falling apart. And because I just handled that planting season just the best as I could, I can see the fruits of that now. I want us all to get to a place where we look at this adulting thing with honor. Like, yes, let me put on my badge of honor every single day. First of all, our generation is lit, period. Our motivations are different, our mindsets are different. What we want in this world is different. And really, just everything about us is different. Like, we're out here changing the world. So why not embrace that? And why not let God use you to get his glory out of all of that? Wake up every day and be thankful that you get to tackle these hard as hello adulting challenges. Like, it's really hard out here. Be thankful for the stretching, because you're going to look up one day and you're going to be changing someone's life. And when I say change someone's life, I'm not just solely talking about you're at a women's event and you're praying for people and boom, they get a revelation. Like, that's great. Don't get me wrong. That's super great. But it can be a photography business. It can be a book. It can be the restaurant you're going to open. It can be a blog. Sis, it can be your wigs. It can be freaking a podcast. Like, any of that. If you're changing someone's life and God is getting the glory and you're using your planted season to propel that, like, you're doing everything right. Your assignment is your ministry. If cooking is your God given talent, then baby, you have to cook like you're making the Last Supper. And I'm talking about the Last Supper that Jesus ate at, okay? But who do you need to become before you can reach that level? We can't just wake up tomorrow and be the Last Supper cooking chef or the best wig slayer out there. What lessons does God want to teach you to help you be that business mogul, or to help you be that restaurant owner that you won't only fill people's bellies, but you'll be able to fill their spirits? Like, those are the kinds of things I think about when I think about growing and stretching, because that's what's important. There's no way I can get on here every week and walk in my purpose as a podcaster and talk with so much passion about adulting and growing and all of that if I hadn't have gone through some things to even talk about. And that's really how you have to look at it. Like, what you're going through is so much bigger than you. So here I am, letting God use me. How will you handle your growing pains so God can use you and expand your ministry and your business and your dreams? It's all about how we handle the uncomfortable state we in. That's it. It's all about how we handle that, because again, you're going to look back when you're changing people's lives like, wow, I went through all of that to get to this moment, and it'll be so worth it. And that's that on that. Like I say every week, y'all got this. The big homie upstairs got you. And I believe in you so much that it's almost unreal. Like, I'm so passionate about making sure you understand that you're not alone and that there's purpose in your pain, and that when you let God lead your life, it'll just be like, just wow. I don't even have any words. You'll get through it. We'll get through it, and it'll be amazing. I believe in you so much. I don't even have any tips or resources today. Today's episode was really just me sharing about that amazing experience I feel that I had, and just how last week's episode really resonated with what happened in my actual life, like outside of me podcasting. So I thought that was really great. As your homework, though, I want to challenge you to spend a little time, even if it's just 3 minutes. Just spend some time either journaling or praying or talking to a friend, whatever you need to do. Spend some time talking about the growing pains that you're facing, that you know without a doubt will expand who you are and expand your ministry. And that ministry can be, again, business, school, being a student, being a husband, being a wife, whatever you're doing, being a friend. Like, what are you experiencing now that can expand who you are? And with that expansion, who are you becoming? You may not know what you're becoming this person for or who you're becoming this person for, but you're becoming this person for a reason. But I want you to think about, who am I becoming from this lesson, from this pain point, from this breakup, from this failed marriage, whatever the case is, who am I becoming as a result? And when you start reflecting, I know you'll feel better about where you are and who you are. And I know that nothing can come between you and your feeling of and your sense of this is not in vain. I know that for a fact. So that wraps up our lesson and our lesson and your homework for the week. I hope that you all were able to take a few nuggets and apply them to your life so you can just continue to thrive at this adulting thing. It is not easy, but we got this and it's so doable. So now we're going to hop into our first show and tell. This week we are featuring D's Creations LLC. These Creations is owned by Miss Dejanay Foster, who is located in the great state of Delaware. I told y'all Delaware was great. Um, these creations sells all types of handmade products from tumblers to shirts and special wall hangers. And she says if she hasn't done it, she will get around to it. Okay, so if y'all have any other ideas or something she has not done, sis will get it done. You can find more about these creations on Facebook and Instagram at These Creations LLC, and I will tag all of this in the show notes. But for your ears, it is DeeZCreationzLLC. These Creations. Her website is www.deescreations.info. When I asked Dee why did she start her business, she shared, I needed a better outlet other than drinking when I was frustrated and stressed, so I started crafting. First of all, shout out to sis. I love her transparency. She goes on to say, then I discovered I was holding on to too many things in the house, and my house was getting so full that my boyfriend told me to sell things. Of course, I'm thinking, what? I'm not going to sell things. And then I got my first purchase and love making customers happy. So I started making more things. And with my pieces, I turned it into a business. And now I'm growing and expanding. First of all, I am so proud of Dee because I know her personally. And aside from being a great businesswoman, she's a great person. She's lovable, loving, authentic, just all of that. I have personally supported Dee. I think I bought two things, or was it three? Whatever the case, I've supported Dee, and she makes quality work. Most of my office desk decor is done by her. I have a very cute candy jar that she made. I have some personalized shot glasses, and I have AKA like craft thingy she made. I don't know the proper term. She probably knows the proper term. But anyways, these creations is lit. I'm so happy to be featuring her for our first show and tell. Head over to her website, her Instagram, her Facebook. Tell her Miss J sent you and show my girl some love. And don't forget, if you have a small business that you would like featured on the show and tell, during the show and tell segment, slide in my DMs or send me an email at schooloflifepod@gmail.com. Again, shout out to Miss D doing her thing. I love you, girl. All right, for our Raise Your Hand segment, we have one question and one teachable moment submitted. So thank y'all for writing your girl. For this Q&A, this friend wants to know, what's the hardest thing about moving to a new city, state, and what's the easiest? So I would say the hardest thing about moving to a new city or state is really the fear of the unknown. The move itself can be very taxing on your body and mind, and it can be stressful as well. But I would have to say the hardest part is definitely just the unknown factor. Will I make friends? How will I be able to keep the friends I already have? Will the job be what I hope it to be if you're moving for a job? And if you're in a relationship, you have that unknown too. Like, will he or she be okay with distance? In my case, from my personal experience, my boo and I have been doing distance since we started from the beginning. Is it hard sometimes? Yes, but we understand that this isn't permanent and this is just something that we have to go through. Everybody isn't like that. You maybe dating someone in the same city and then you move. So just that unknown about all the factors can be can be very hard, I will say. The easiest part I would have to say, I had never really thought about that. Um, but the easiest part I would have to say is the excitement. I guess just being excited for new adventures and new challenges that you will get to grow from. As y'all can see, I'm all about growth. So, yeah, I would say that is the easiest. So, this person also shared a teachable moment from their life, and he said that he is learning the importance of patience and sticking with the process. Yeah, shout out to you. Sticking with the process and patience are very important. Y'all know my whole kid story from traveling. I need some patience. So, thanks again for your submission. I really appreciate your questions and your teachable moment. So, before we get out of here, I have to leave y'all with some food for thought. Stay away from that greasy Popeye's chicken sandwich. If I see another chicken sandwich on my timeline, y'all, just stay away. Anyways, no, really. I found a quote that I love that said, "Growing up is hard, otherwise, everyone would do it." And I thought that was very just wow because it's so true. Let that sink in, marinate on it all week, take it for what it is, and do your best to keep growing at this thing, honey. We want to be in the number that is growing and surviving and thriving while we adult. So, thank y'all again for tuning in. I hope that you gained something valuable. I hope that I was able to help you in some kind of way. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all support, and I'll talk to you next week.